Disagreeing at work in English can be uncomfortable. You hear an idea and know something isn't right, but hesitate to speak up.
Because you don't want to sound rude, difficult, or out of line.
So you stay quiet, even when your input could make a real difference.
The problem isn't your English. It's not knowing how to disagree without creating tension.
Strong professionals disagree all the time. They just do it calmly and constructively.
They don't say, "You're wrong." They say, "I see your point, but we might need another approach."
Same disagreement, completely different impact.
In this video, you'll learn how to push back clearly, professionally, and confidently.
Let's set the context for today's video. I am a team leader who is responsible for overall campaign strategy.
I'm the marketing executive who manages content, messaging, and brand alignment. We're discussing a product launch strategy. I have a different perspective, but needs to push back professionally without sounding confrontational.
For this launch, I think we should focus heavily on paid ads to generate results as quickly as possible.
I see your point, and paid ads can certainly boost visibility fast. But I'm concerned that relying too heavily on paid channels won't be sustainable in the long term.
What do you mean?
Well, if we put all our budget into ads, performance could drop once we reduce spending. We might also miss building organic channels that support growth consistently.
That's fair, but we need traction quickly.
I understand. Speed matters. But combining paid and organic channels now can balance short-term results with long-term stability.
You mean like integrating content marketing?
Exactly. Even starting small with blogs, social media, and email campaigns could give us a strong foundation for the future.
I get that, but content usually takes time to show results.
I agree. But even small steps now can lead to better results in the coming months. We'd be reducing risk while staying visible.
I see your point.
So my suggestion is not to remove ads, but to allocate part of our resources to organic growth as well.
Okay, if we split the budget, I still think 80% should go to paid ads.
I understand that, but putting too much into one channel limits flexibility and testing opportunities.
I see. But won't reducing ad spend risk slower results in the short term?
Not necessarily. Diversifying allows us to test other channels without risking the entire campaign.
What would you suggest for splitting it more effectively then?
I recommend 60% for paid ads and 40% for content, social, and experimental channels.
I worry that experimental channels might underperform and waste part of the budget.
Small-scale testing is low risk. If something works, we scale. If not, we adjust quickly.
And what about tracking ROI across multiple channels? Won't that complicate reporting?
Actually, tracking several channels gives better insights. We see what works and optimize future campaigns.
So paid ads deliver speed, while diversifying builds knowledge for long-term growth?
Exactly. We keep fast results and also develop sustainable channels for future campaigns.
All right, a 60-40 split seems balanced. Fast results plus room to experiment safely.
Perfect. This keeps momentum, reduces risk, and allows flexibility for scaling what works best.
We need to launch in 2 weeks. The schedule is fixed and cannot change.
I understand, but 2 weeks might be too tight to ensure proper testing and quality.
We really don't have flexibility. Any delays could affect overall campaign performance.
I get that, but rushing increases the risk of errors, like incomplete testing or unclear messaging.
That's true. Mistakes could damage the first impression with potential customers.
Exactly. A few extra days would allow careful testing, avoiding preventable mistakes after launch.
But won't adding days push back our results and reduce speed?
Not necessarily. Proper planning ensures the launch is smooth, which saves time fixing errors later.
Okay, I see. Prioritizing quality can prevent bigger problems while keeping the timeline mostly intact.
Right. We meet deadlines but maintain a buffer to ensure all systems function properly.
Could we perhaps adjust certain internal deadlines while keeping the public launch on time?
Yes, internal milestones could be flexible. That allows testing and review without delaying the launch.
We could also assign extra resources to critical tasks to meet the 2-week deadline.
That would help. Focused effort on high-risk areas minimizes errors and keeps overall progress steady.
Maybe we can run a parallel review while the development team continues implementation.
Good idea. Early feedback loops catch mistakes quickly and reduce last-minute firefighting before launch.
I like this approach. It balances urgency and quality without overloading the team unnecessarily.
Exactly. Clear priorities, proper checks, and a slight buffer protect both timeline and outcome.
We can present this plan to leadership to show a structured, risk-managed timeline.
Agreed. It demonstrates that we respect the deadline while ensuring a high-quality launch experience.
So, in summary, we keep the 2-week launch, add buffers, and implement parallel reviews.
Perfect. That way, speed doesn't compromise quality, and our team has a clear, executable plan.
I think we should highlight all features in the campaign so users see full product value.
I understand, but showing everything might overwhelm the audience and dilute the main message impact.
If we don't show everything, might users miss some important features they really need?
Not necessarily. Prioritizing one or two key features makes the message clearer and more memorable.
Which features should we focus on to ensure maximum engagement without confusing the audience?
We could highlight the features that solve the most pressing user problems and provide real value.
That makes sense, but how do we communicate the remaining features without losing them completely?
We can include secondary features in supporting content, like blogs, emails, or video tutorials.
Would emphasizing fewer features affect sales conversions negatively?
Actually, focusing makes calls to action stronger and improves understanding, which usually increases conversion rates.
Okay, that seems reasonable. But how about visual layout? Does simplifying impact design appeal?
No, it enhances clarity. Clean visuals support comprehension and make users more likely to engage.
So simplifying the message actually strengthens the campaign rather than weakening it?
Exactly. A focused message captures attention, improves retention, and guides users toward action efficiently.
What about testing this approach before launch? Do we run A/B tests?
Absolutely. Testing headlines and feature focus can show which messaging resonates best with the audience.
Good. That gives us confidence and reduces risk before scaling the campaign fully.
Yes, it allows data-driven decisions and ensures our main features are communicated clearly to users.
All right. I'm convinced that focusing on key features improves both engagement and overall effectiveness.
Perfect. We balance clarity, impact, and user experience while still representing the full product value.
Now, let's practice shadowing these phrases so you can speak confidently and push back effectively at work. Jenny, can you help me with this part?
Yes, of course, Brian. Now, listen carefully and repeat after me. I see your point, but I'm not sure this is the best approach here. That makes sense, but we might need to consider another option for better results. I understand the idea, but I'm concerned about potential risks if we move too fast. That's fair, but I think we should review this more carefully before finalizing. I agree with part of that, but we may need to adjust the plan slightly. I see what you're saying, but adding a small buffer could reduce possible mistakes. I get your perspective, but focusing on fewer features will make the message stronger. That's a good suggestion, but testing multiple channels first could improve overall performance. I understand your concern, but early feedback loops will help us catch mistakes quickly. I agree with the goal, but refining the execution slightly ensures better results overall.
That's it for today. Disagreeing professionally doesn't have to be uncomfortable.
Remember, it's not about being right. It's about expressing your perspective clearly and respectfully.
Use these phrases, practice shadowing, and you'll push back confidently without creating tension.
If you found this useful,